guys, welcome again to Esiwakago YouTube channel, and this channel is where we encourage, inspire, and also inform people. Why? Because when you have information, it is easier for you to know what to do, where, when, and how. So if you are out there and you have a story that you would want to share with Esiwakago YouTube channel, please inbox me at esiwakago@gmail.com and we will get to record your story and we will air it here at Esiwakago YouTube channel, and I will be grateful. Why do I encourage people to share their stories? This is because if there were no records that were done, if there were no stories that were recorded back then, we wouldn't have the history we have today. The only reason we have a history today is because some stories were shared, some stories were recorded, and that is what we read up to date. Okay, guys? So keep on subscribing, keep on sharing, and keep on also sharing your views with me. I do go through the comment section every now and then, and if I get to see a question that needs urgent response, I do that at my earliest convenience. So we are now heading to 5,000 subscribers, guys. Ain't this beautiful? Like, you are so supportive. May God bless you, and may God keep on helping you, answering you in your time of need. For those who watch without subscribing, please guys, please just hit that subscription button and God will bless you immensely. Today I want to speak about something, and I know this will be appreciated by parents. Those parents that have kids here in America, we, including me because I'm a parent as well, we have some challenges, and most people would think that when you come to America, you just let your kids behave the way they want. But there are those challenges that parents go through with their kids when they get to America, whether they have their kids here or they just came with them, they imported them to America. That is, they relocated with their kids to America, including me, because I got my babies, some of my babies, in Kenya, and I relocated with them to America, but they were pretty young, and now they are kind of heading to teenage. Yeah, I'm that old. So there are those challenges that you might think, without an exposure, without experience, you might think a parent in America is just being too soft with their kids, which is not the case. People who know me back in Nairobi, I am a good, a renowned disciplinarian. Well, how do I am a renowned disciplinarian. But I don't know if that is how we say the word, but I believe you can guess what I want to mean. So I am that kind of a parent who cannot condone kids doing mannerless things. And this doesn't have to be a very big, huge thing, but it also means talking to them and they are not paying attention. To me, that is being disrespectful to a parent of my age. You know, those of us who were raised during 80s, 90s, backward, they know very well that when a parent is talking to you, and we say talking to you because you're not supposed to talk back, you're not talking with them, they are talking to you. So you are not supposed to respond unless there is a need to say yes or no. And no is not welcome, and you know that. So we come with this attitude, or we tend to bring up our kids with this type of attitude where we do not believe in them talking back to us, and talking back to us, sometimes here it means the child is just trying to express their feelings. That is how they call it here. They have so many sweet names which they have translated from our original names that meant nothing other than disrespect. So, when you relocate to America, you will find that your child has the guts to talk back to you, but it is talk back to you because they are taught they should be able to express their feelings. So, in Africa, we don't know anything like expressing your feelings. We just translate it as being disrespectful and talking back to a parent, which is an abomination. In America, when we come here with time, you get used to these expressing feelings, and sometimes when you are talking to your child and they want to say something, you have to give them time to express their feelings. And this is where many will come visiting here and they are like, you know what, I don't know what happened with my sister, because she can now even let the girl talk back to her and she won't do nothing. It's like she just spoiling her. What you miss is that we just get in line with the system and get to understand that even though they are kids, they also have feelings and they need to be felt. Their feelings need to be respected as well. The same way you would get hurt by someone and feel bad and feel hurt, it's the same way a child would feel hurt if you do not give them that opportunity to express their feelings. And somehow, along the way, because with the Africanism in us, with the genes of an African, it is super hard to just keep quiet and get your child kind of like lecture you. Because at some point they would tell you, Mom, you cannot just enter my room without knocking. What do you mean? Did you just tell me I have to knock to your door before I get into your room? The room that is in my house that I have rented, or the house that I have bought with my own money, the money that I go to work and get paid and come pay a house just to give you a roof, and you are here giving me instructions? That is unheard of. It is an abomination in an African parent home. But that is according to what you would think we are supposed to do it. But we do not do it that way anymore when we get to America, because you will have to learn a lot and get to understand that even little children, they are also human beings with feelings that are supposed to be respected. For example, you cannot just enter their room without knocking and you don't know what they are doing. You have to respect their privacy. And when I got here, I couldn't understand what they mean by respecting their privacy. Like how? What privacy? After all, I cleaned I cleaned you when you could poop on yourself. I did everything. I raised you up. I saw your nakedness. I have seen it for maybe, let's say it's a child of 7 years. I have seen it for like 5 years. So just 2 years difference, you are here telling me I might find you naked or doing something or changing, and that is trespassing and not respecting your privacy. What do you mean? That is the mind you would have. But when you get to America, you get to understand that even those little children, they are also entitled to some respect when you are dealing with them. And it might be a culture shock when you get here and get to understand that things will be done differently, including how you treat your kids and how you see them. So we Kenyan American or African American, we learn it the hard way, because these kids, when they go to school, they are taught how things are done they are taught boundaries, they are taught about privacy, they are taught about abuse, they are taught about almost everything. They are very much knowledgeable, and it is you who doesn't know anything. And before you get to know that they have info and you are missing something, there is this friction part, or the friction time that will occur between you and them. Why? Because they know something that you do not know. They were taught something that you were not taught. So you have to respect their privacy. You have to knock on their doors before you get into their rooms. And another thing that I came to understand, it is not even allowed to, like, let's say many parents here will control what the children are watching on their phones, which is okay because every house has their own rules that work. But some of the kids, when they grow up, I read it somewhere, they would it was in an American group, a huge group, where someone just posed a question about, did your parents take away your phones, your gadgets, and they would go through them, give you they would just instruct you to put on the password, and they would get in your phones and get to see what you're doing with your phones. And I read the comments, and some kids, they take that as an abuse. I don't know how, but they take that as an abuse. So what is the best way to do it? I would think the best way to do it is to just avoid buying them that gadget, because the minute you buy them that gadget, they own it. In their mind, they own it, but what you know is that you used your own money to buy it, so it is still your gadget, although they are using it. They don't understand things from that perspective. They later in life translate that to an abuse. I don't know how, but this is America. The best way to do it is to just do not buy them phone before the right time, before they can become responsible for most of the stuff that you are trying to control. Or maybe the best way to do it is just buy a house phone. A house phone doesn't have those websites and stuff, so it is safer that way than just knocking their doors or just trespassing to go and grab their phone, instruct them to put a password, and get to go through whatever they are going through. I believe a child cannot die because you did not buy them a phone. If this phone gonna bring other bad things in the house, around the house, and even introduce them to some bad stuff that are for adults, I would rather choose not to buy them a phone and just get a house phone, which will have a phone in each room, and they can be using that for communication. Because at the end of the day, why you are buying your child a phone is because you want to communicate. Whenever you are or wherever they are, you can when you are at work, you can communicate with them. When they are in school, at school, they do not need a phone. I don't believe they need a phone at school. People will just come here telling me, you know what, they need a phone while at school something might happen. Okay, then just understand that it is hard to control them, and some things we do as parents trying to protect them, they interpret them as you being abusive, which is not the case. So this is something I would want to tell people out there. It is my thoughts. These are my thoughts. And I am a parent, like I said, and my kids are heading to the teenage years. So I know it is hard to bring up and to raise teenagers, but again, it is better to minimize the quarrels. So that is what I wanted to say. Like, people out there think, you know what, these African parents, when they get to America, they just change and they submit themselves to their kids to just be told what to do by the kids. It is not what you think it is. And sometimes, until you come to America and understand the system. They respect everybody. They respect everybody. Every human being is owed respect here in America. So sometimes we cool down because we understand some of the things we used to do was an abuse. We didn't know back then. So when we come here and we get educated about these things, that is how we calm down and we do things in a way your child won't feel like you're abusing them. I am not encouraging a child talking back to a parent, no, and I am not saying it is okay for a child to talk back to their parent. But again, in America, we get educated how to handle these kids, because it is not how much you beat a kid that's gonna make them good in future. That's a lie. During our age, we got beaten, whooped, we got terrorized. Because I remember sometimes our mothers could beat us and you're like, oh my God, did they buy me? Do I even belong here? Because of the kind of a beating you have received. But yet, there are some of those kids who chose to become robbers. That didn't prevent them from becoming robbers. There are those who went other ways that are not good ways. Yet, they received the same beating you received. So, it is not about how much you beat a child, but it is more about sitting them down, reasoning with them, and also setting a good example. Because kids will learn more watching you other than telling them what to do. So if you want them to do a certain thing, do it so that they can copy, they can emulate. And even though they might not emulate you, if they choose the other way, back in their mind, they will be aware that this is not the way my mama would want me to behave. This is not the way my dad would want me to behave. I know the right way, yet I choose this other one, excuse me. And that is where the Bible says, teach your child the right ways. Even when they grow up, or even when they go astray, they will still come back because they know this is the right way and not the easiest way I took out. So this is what I wanted just to share and get people to know that it is not like we come here and we become very much westernized. In fact, the Western people that I have come across, they have kids that are very disciplined, not because they hoop them, they don't even hoop them, but they know how to keep it at bay. They do things, they still misbehave, their kids still misbehave now and then, because a child will ever be a child, and as long as they are growing up, they will sometimes behave weird, they will sometimes be good. It is not all the time that kids behave in a bad manner. So they know how to discipline them. They know how to do things, reason with them, and tell them, you know what, you did this, and because of this, these are the repercussions, and you won't have this thing for a period of this time. So these are the repercussions that you should expect. So kids tend to behave not because they were hooped, not because they were beaten, but because they know, if I do this, there are these consequences that I'm gonna face. Not necessarily a whooping, but it is even more worse than a whooping. Yet it would be an abuse, So that is what I wanted to share, and this is the end of this video, and I will see you when you see me. Bye bye, and have a good moment wherever you are, and keep on subscribing, keep on sharing, and liking the videos, and I'll see you when you see me. Bye bye, and do not forget to keep on keeping on.